How we doing, guys? And welcome back to the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Richie, here with my good friend, Mr. Idris Salam. How you doing, boss?
Doing well. Football season's coming.
This here is the COVID edition of my show. I am actually homesick with COVID. First time I have contracted it, hopefully the last time. And I know it hits everybody a little different. But I gotta say, man, the first couple of days were really brutal. I was a little scared, man. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. Took the precautions. Went to the hospital just to kind of be safe because the only thermometer I had in the house actually broke, so I wasn't too sure how high my fever was. So I said I better be safe than sorry. But just a lot of laundry, man. Keeping everything clean. And, playing a lot of the show, man. I just whipped up on Boston. I'm basically like a couple of days behind on where the Yankees are in real life. Enough about me and my cooties. Some of the topics we're going to hit on tonight. We got Juju Smith Schuster and others as NFL hot takes that we want to talk about, where we think they're going to be going this season, because with the upcoming season, that's been a theme of ours. We are really getting it in on these NFL hot takes. We're going to do a mid-season report on MLB and where these teams are headed and what these teams actually need to get where they're going. And we've got a couple of Hall of Famers in our minds who have been snubbed by their respective Hall of Fame committees in their respective sports. Idris and I are definitely going to hit on that. But this is where we're going to go to get started. One of the greatest female basketball players in the world and what she's enduring right now. Talking about Brittany Griner. Idris, you can lead this off, man.
Okay. I'm kind of left and right on this. I want her home. I don't want to see anyone locked up, especially abroad. And I think she's kind of have herself to blame, and I don't want to put it harshly, but we have to understand the laws in other countries. And, a lot of countries don't like us. And
that's an
you have to take that in consideration. Yeah, right. You got to take that into consideration when traveling abroad, because and having hashish oil, that's not good, man. Also, people complain about if this was LeBron, she would come home faster. I don't necessarily agree with that, because the more value you have, the longer they'll probably keep it to get more value out of you.
If Trump was
Brittany
the president,
Griner,
I highly doubt that he would be in a big rush to get LeBron home. I know that those two bumped heads many times.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah. He would drag his ass on that. And they say, why is there much publicity about it? There's a lot of publicity, but you also have to remember, the more you talk about it, the more they say, okay, this person is worth more than we thought. Brittany Griner was a great WNBA basketball player. She is a great WNBA basketball player. Is she as big as LeBron? No, she's not. But with all the media attention she gets, and the more people talk, and then compare her to LeBron James, the Russian government said, okay, she does have some value. Especially when it comes to trading, one for another.
I understand that there was a spy that they wanted in exchange for Brittany. Is that correct? Yeah.
And those who say that, and that just puts more division. If it was LeBron, well, to say that LeBron wouldn't have made that mistake. He's not going to go to another country, and he's going to play all positions. And the one position he's going to play is the one where he's not going to put himself in harm's way. Okay. And I'm going to send this to the LGBTQ community. And they're going to call it homophobic. But what I'm saying is not going to be homophobic. It's going to be true. You guys have to stop this separation that you do. you're not making Brittany Griner look any better than what she is by mouthing off about people, and making this thing, because they don't even like LGBTQ over there. You running your mouth thinking you're bigger than the next person is making it worse for her. Keep your mouth shut. Support her, but don't start causing division among everyone here and angering them. This girl needs to come home. Shut your mouth. Period.
I tend to agree with the statement there, because anything that needs to get better, whether you go all the way back to the civil rights movement, to things happening now, inclusion of people that are not the same is also so very important to get things rolling in the proper direction. To your point, you make a good one. It's a communist nation over there.
Right.
And they do not tolerate the freedoms that many of us do take for granted. And believe me, I'll be the first to get on a rant about how disappointed I am with a lot of things that happen in this country. And I've spoken about them numerous times on this show. But, do I believe that if it was a Tom Brady or a LeBron James? I don't know, dude. I don't know how that would happen or how it would play out. Somebody, part of the reason she's there in the first place happens to be because women do not make the same kind of pay as the NBA players. The WNBA women do not make that same kind of pay, nor have the same powerful endorsements. They might be on an underbrand or it's not the same hit. Granted, they still might make more in endorsements. Not the same thing. One thing that I did come across on social media quite a bit, and it does get under my skin also, is that I myself am very tired of people always going for, well, good for her. She's locked up because she hates our country. I don't think she necessarily hates our country because she voiced her opinions, but the bottom line is that having that freedom of speech, whether it's controversial or not, whether it pisses people off or not, is part of her American right. And at the end of the day, I don't wish that fate on any American, whether I agree with their political policies or not.
Right.
I don't know how this is going to play out. I really don't. And I guess my ultimate hope is that she's being treated like a human. That would be my ultimate hope, and I can't say that I necessarily believe that to be true.
Right. I agree.
As far as the head coach goes, listen, I'm the furthest thing from a LeBron James fan, but don't name drop him, because he doesn't have a fucking thing to do with what's going on over there. And I very rarely will you see me defend LeBron James, but this is one of those times that I will. And to your point, I do not believe that LeBron James would ever put himself in that situation. I understand maybe she packed quickly. I don't wish that fate on anyone, but it was pretty boneheaded, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. I think with us in America, we take our freedom for granted. We like you said, and we kind of feel like when we go out, being overseas for 8 years, I saw a lot of Americans. We have this bravado, like, I'm American. I can do what I want because I'm American. I'm like, you can't do it on foreign land because they don't even like you.
I remember that kid in Singapore years and years ago. Yeah, well, they beat him with the flog. The stick. They flogged him. I think it was like 40-something, 50-something times.
It was a lot.
He was vandalizing cars.
Yeah.
But it is that entitlement. And I'm not saying that this entitlement necessarily applies to Brittany Griner. I think this was just something boneheaded that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
As far as an American cockiness that we as Americans carry over into other nations, yes, that's a very real thing. Yeah. And there is a reason why so many people dislike us around the world, because they do view us as very entitled. I hope this situation turns out well. Like I said, this wasn't like going out there and committing atrocities. And people need to be grounded in the sense that it's not about political agendas or political views of the person, in this case, the prisoner. There's a lot of different far cries between different kinds of crimes. In that aspect, I have an empathy, but I also say this is another glaring example that, we do take our freedoms for granted.
Yeah, and I want to say this to people. I'm a huge Brittany Griner. I have her jersey. I follow her since Baylor. I'm a Brittany Griner fan. I really am. So I'm not downing her, but I'm saying, but we have to be more responsible. We got to know our whereabouts. We have to know these things. We just can't assume I'm American. I can do what the hell I want to do. And I'm not saying that's the way she thought. I'm just saying we have to be aware. And being black, being a woman, and being gay, that don't fly across a lot of the country. I mean, around a lot of the world. So you have to keep those in mind when traveling.
And I do believe
that's my closing.
And I do believe, to your point, that when it comes to groups who support her, they have to be careful about how they go about it too, because of the sheer fact that you don't want to make things tougher for her than they already are. So I do believe that that's a solid point on your end. We're going to slide this over to the major leagues. We're about, I believe the All-Star game's on the 18th. We are roughly a week or so away from the midway point. Midway point's already been had in terms of how many games played. They've already exceeded the 81 games. They're past that. I'm out here going to give my mid-season grades on each team, and I'm also going to speak about what I do believe these teams need. Shocker here. I'm starting with our guys, the New York Yankees. It's hard not to give them anything better than an A, unless you want to do an A+. You know what? Nah, I'm not doing an A+. I'm not tell you why. Because there's still holes in the lineup. When you have a guy like a Joey Gallo who weighs more than his average, Aaron Hicks has improved and I still think has some value to the team. There are some suitors for Joey Gallo where he can potentially find a new home, or maybe an old home new again. Texas is interested. How much interested, that remains to be seen. I was kind of surprised to see that the San Diego Padres actually want to take a look at Gallo. Maybe they think in their lineup he might be protected. He might be able to shine. Different market. Sometimes guys, the pressure comes off and they can perform a little better. I'm not saying that he's not what we thought he was, but he's never been this bad.
Right. Yeah.
I would say the Yankees need a pitcher too, but go ahead.
No. I was going to say that. Yeah, I think we need a pitcher too. Yeah.
Frankie Montez still out there from Oakland. They certainly don't want to lose him for free. And I'll be honest, I believe that the Yankees actually have the leverage, or other teams that might go for Montez, because we don't necessarily have to break the piggy bank to grab him, because in terms of wealth in the farm, because if they're asking for that, the Yankees hang up the phone. Yeah. And that's that. He's a free agent next year. But in Oakland's shoes, they got to get something. They've dumped everybody already except for Montez. Yeah. Olsen's a Brave.
Well, I mean,
Bassett's a Met. Other guys.
30 games out of they're 30 games out of first place. I mean,
the stadium's falling apart. They might not even be in Oakland in a few years.
They may not. They might do it like Anaheim did and move to Los Angeles. Who knows? I mean, I don't think they'll move to Los Angeles, but who knows where they'll go? It's a shame. It's a good franchise.
Yeah, rich history. I mean, great years with Ricky Henderson. Yeah. Before him, Reggie Jackson.
Yep.
Raleigh Fingers.
They had Raleigh Fingers,
Yeah, a lot of history there, but the Bash Brother days with Canseco and McGuire.
Yeah. They have a lot. They got a lot.
But they are bad. And the Moneyball aspect, that's yesteryear. That's another thing. They have completely surrendered. because, quite frankly, I don't think that they are staying in that town. I think Vegas might pick them up.
Possibly.
I'm sure
you know what? That'd be great. Go to Vegas. You got the Raiders there. Now you got the A's. Who knows?
It makes sense. It makes sense. I don't know. Maybe Montreal picks them up, because I was thinking if Montreal picks them up, that could be the saving grace for the Rays not to leave Florida.
Yeah.
And in that regard,
I agree with that.
I kind of hope the Rays stay where they are, because I like being able to go and watch the Yankees a few times a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I want them to stay there too. Yeah. That's why I'd rather see Oakland move. Montreal be nice, but I like to see them in Vegas. I like to see them in Vegas. Now, if you go back to Montreal and name them the Expos again, okay. Because Montreal A's just don't sound right.
Yeah, that would be. I didn't even think about that aspect of it, but yeah, that would be very.
Got to be the Expos. Got to be the Expos.
My thought on the Yankees here. Final thought with them. Mm-hmm. They're coming off a tough little stretch where they've been getting hit a lot more frequently.
Mm.
It's very typical to when they go to Fenway, regardless of the records of the teams. Usually, you're looking at high-scoring games, and no matter who's on the mound, they're getting hit. But there has been a noticeable decline in Nestor Cortez and Jameson Taillon, particularly, who have stood out. That is part of my reason why I brought up Montez. I do think the Yankees need an arm. I also think that they're going to do their best to either get half of the Chicago Cubs or possibly Andrew Benintendi. I think the Mets are also going to be players in both of those guys. And I think the Mets are also going to be players to potentially get David Robinson to set up a 1-2 with Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, I think we're good on bats. Yankees are good on bats.
I agree.
With Gallo, but I think another pitcher or whatever, that'd be great. Because you need pitching going into the postseason, or even a home stretch of the season, regular season. You need pitching, and we're doing okay. Chapman, he still freaks me out.
Yeah.
Ness, he's kind of Ness
I told people that were complaining about Cortez the other day on social media.
Yeah.
Nobody had him doing this good. So anything that you're getting from this point on, he's already exceeded what he was supposed to do.
This is the extra gravy, because exactly.
The Yankees actually a lot of people gave up on him once before. This is not like some prodigy,
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what you were saying. So I think we're good. I think we need to pick up another pitcher, because the All-Star break is going to do us some good as well. So everyone can settle down, and come back for the home stretch. For the Mets, I got to eat crow, man. I got to eat the crow. I really thought by June they would be taking a nosedive. But they still don't like them, but they've impressed me.
They're hanging, and the Braves are playing over 700 ball.
Yeah.
To bring back into, and I'm going to mention last night's game. I actually watched part of it from the 7th to the end. Mm-hmm. Max Scherzer was on his game. Looks like the guy, what they paid for.
Yeah.
Side note, Robinson Cano's in Atlanta Braves suddenly. That was just all kinds of weird seeing him in a Braves uniform. They're trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Whew. Yeah, that's like seeing Joe Namath in a Rams uniform,
Yeah, dude. Similar to the Yankees, the Mets have their share of holes too. I think specifically what the Mets need is right now they're getting action from a very young catcher. I still think Wilson Contreras would be the right answer for them. Cubs are another team that's selling. If I'm the Mets, I try to contact them and also try to grab their closer, as I already mentioned, David Robertson, who would set up for Edwin Diaz. There are some bats out there. I know Nelson Cruz has been mentioned. I don't necessarily know if I'd go that route. CJ Cron's another one. There are players out there. And I also wouldn't rule out the Mets making a deal with Baltimore, because even though Baltimore is the hottest team in baseball right now, I can't believe I even said that.
They are balling, dude.
Yeah, they're in the mix. They are
balling.
They're only a game under 500, which would make every team in our division have a winning record. Definitely showing that patience is working. They're a young squad, all in all.
Dude, they're only 4 games out of second place.
And that would upset a lot of Baltimore fans if they just started selling, because you had something to actually root for the first time since Buck Showalter was there.
I'm looking at the standings now, and they're not out of it.
They have a chance at the wild card.
Yeah, they got a big chance. I mean,
it's the middle of the AL East from second down to 5. Yeah, they're all closer to each other than they are to us.
Right.
And that's why it's important for the Yankees to not go into autopilot. Right. Because you don't want to win 115 games or 112 games and fall asleep in the playoffs. They have to keep their foot on the pedal. But, people freak out in Yankee country, and it's a little comical with our fan base because nobody knows how to take a losing streak. Albeit our longest losing streak is 2.
What?
Yeah, people do not know how to do.
Fire Boone.
We
need to get rid of this guy.
Always Fire Boone.
We need to get rid of that guy. Yeah, we need to get rid of this guy. We need to get Cashman out of there. Hank needs to sell a team.
Yeah, sell him. People freak out. You would think that we were on a 72-year drought, not a 12-year one.
Right.
Houston Astros. This is the team that's going to be in the Yankees' way for sure. I don't believe that they necessarily need to add pitching, but I will say this. In the event that, and it would be weird because it would be an interdivision trade. I don't think Oakland really cares where they send Montez as long as they get what they want from him.
Right.
If he were to show up here, that would be devastating in terms of the pitching staff.
That would hurt.
Like anything else, veteran bats are always welcome this time of the year. I would not be the least bit surprised if the Astros look to improve and go that route. Justin Verlander is in the middle of a probable Cy Young campaign.
Yeah.
And there ain't really much more to say there other than the fact that this is the team that I think strikes the most fear in most Yankee fans' hearts. And they're not going anywhere until they get beat. They always find a way to be there. And like them or not, I will give them credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gave these guys an A. I don't think the Dodgers necessarily need to have the best record because they have the experience similar to the Astros in the American League.
Right.
What does this team still need? I think it's comical because when you look at the roster, they are loaded everywhere.
Top to bottom, good management, ownership.
Health and focus. That's what they need. Health and focus. Because they've got everything they need.
Yeah, top to bottom.
Absolutely everything they need. Got to mention these clowns.
Yeah. Let me start with this one.
Yeah, go. You got this. So I'm about to die over here with my COVID cough.
They're swimming. But they're swimming from sharks. Because the Orioles, the Jays, the Rays are on that ass.
They got beat yesterday by Tampa.
They got beat by,
after they beat us.
Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Guardians. Everybody's right behind them. They're meat. And they're bloody meat. And everyone's coming to them. The way we handled them in Fenway was marvelous, except for that one game where, we lost an extra inning. I give them a C plus, yeah. I would go C minus. Yeah, I would go C minus with them because if you rank them among all AL teams, they're average at best, middle of the pack, of an average pack. I mean,
they're like one-dimensional to me. They have if they don't have an elite offense, I would say it's very good.
Right.
But where they have the fall off, Chris Sale, they're still waiting on him to come back. He had a temper tantrum in the minors, gave up 5 walks. They don't have the pitching. And that's the reason why they're a little over 500 as opposed to competing for a division title with us. Now, granted, nobody saw the Yankees having a historic start.
True.
Most times we are fighting with these other teams within a 5 to 6 game radius of each other.
Right.
And that's why I try to remind people, don't take this for granted what the Yankees are accomplishing because it doesn't happen often.
It doesn't.
And the fact that the rest of our
one bad series and boom.
Has a winning record and Baltimore's like literally 1 game under 500, it speaks volumes on how good that division really is. Red Sox need pitching, but then I don't see them as buyers.
No, I don't either. And it's funny because just a couple of weeks ago, the Dodgers were talking about how the Yankees are in a weak division and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No. I remember looking up the stats and where the American League East was rated higher in runs and everything than the NL West. Yeah. And I was like, what are the Dodgers talking about? The Red Sox, they're going to have to fight. They're going to have to fight the rest of the way.
I'll be honest. Seriously. I don't think the Red Sox are getting in.
No,
because I don't think they have the pitching to sustain.
I don't think so either.
I think getting back into the race is why I gave them a C+ and not a D.
Yeah, because they were gone.
I got to give them credit for fighting because they have hung around, but I just don't see it as sustainable. They don't have the pitching.
They don't have the pitching, man. They don't have the pitching. And the Rays are on them.
These guys need another arm.
Yeah.
This is another place that would be a great landing spot for, I don't know, pick your favorite Cincinnati Red that's worth keeping on a roster. Frankie Montez. Other teams that are in the gutter that can help, that have pieces. Pick your favorite Pirate. The Braves need another pitcher to be within contention of the Mets. And it's not just about winning the East. The Braves proved last year they don't have to have the best record to win it all.
Right.
They're very talented. They're very talented. Yep. They're well managed. I watched that game yesterday. They hung around. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Max was on that next level yesterday, with the exception of one bad pitch to Austin Riley. Max looked damn near unhittable last night.
Super Max.
Yeah, and how a lot of teams are making like those midseason moves. The Mets midseason move is getting DeGrom back, just healthy.
Right.
Because they've already July is a friendly schedule for them, which is fortunate for them. And the other part of it is they've kind of weathered the storm. Now, granted, their lead has shrunk, but they weathered the storm of having the majority of the season without both their guys. They haven't had DeGrom at all this year.
Right.
The offense needs to pick up in certain areas. I mean, Lindor, Alonso, they're getting RBIs. Marte's having a nice year, but there's too many holes. The Mets still need a legitimate hitter. The Braves, like I said, they picked up Cano looking for some kind of lightning in a bottle, a player that once upon a time was an MVP candidate. A lot of time left. I think these are both playoff teams, the Braves and Mets, but I do think the Mets are going to hold them off. October is another animal, and that'll be revealed.
Yeah.
These guys are hard to figure this year.
Oh,
go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, no, you go. I think they both will make the playoffs, but I think the Braves, and this is no hate, I think the Braves will overcome them. But I think they'll both still walk into the playoffs.
Either way, I don't see either one of these teams missing.
Yeah. All right.
I was getting on these guys, and Kevin Cash previously, it seems like every year he's going to be manager of the year. This year, there's two things that are missing from their recipe of really being excellent, because 2 years ago, American League champs. Last year, best team in the American League, but blew it early in the playoffs to the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Two things that are missing this year. They are not getting those big 2-out hits, and they are not doing well in the field, making a lot of uncharacteristic errors that you don't expect from a Kevin Cash-led team. They still have very good pitching. Maybe not the bullpen depth that you want when you're thinking about chasing down a championship, but for Tampa, to me, it's like any other season with them. They just got to get in.
Yeah. Tampa, they're like that. They're like that mother who doesn't have much money, but she can still feed 5 kids. They don't have the big names. They just don't spend money, but they always find a way to compete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they can be scary because, in years past, they always put the fear of God in us. They always gave us a hard time. And I don't put it past them to, do something this year. This year, outfield's not playing well. They're not getting those singles, doubles, Yeah, but I think they'll
hitting it on the whole
put it together.
It's been an issue for them. And like I said, making a lot of bad plays in the field, which is not typical of a Kevin Cash team. I personally think they are going to qualify for the playoffs.
I do too.
Out of all these teams we listed, the only ones that aren't getting in up to this point, in my opinion, is actually the Red Sox. I think Tampa kind of ran into a little rough stretch there. Kind of right after we had played them in Tampa, they kind of recovered in the Blue Jay series. They got a big win yesterday against the Sox. A lot of this gets overlooked, like I said, because of the kind of year the Yanks are having. But the AL East is so friggin' deep, man.
When your worst team is damn near 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
The Brew Crew.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make it short and sweet with them.
Okay.
Biggest issue that I see in their way is an issue that I've always seen in their way. These guys don't spend money when they're good. Not since they got CeCe on the rental or spend assets when they're good. When you talk about their closer, he's money, and he's the type of guy that in October can get you to the World Series if you got the right bridge to get to him.
Right.
This is a very talented team. All I could say is that the Cardinals are breathing on them. They're always in the mix. I just hope, for the fans' sake, because these are very passionate fans, the same fans that root for the Bucks and the Packers. Wisconsin fans, really passionate fans. I hope that
small market
management does the right thing by these guys and gets them what they need to make a legitimate run, because, the Braves are not small market. That's a big market. The Dodgers are big market. The Cardinals are big market.
Big market.
Brewers got to spend some money if they want to hang when it counts. And obviously the Mets, they share New York with the Yankees. Obviously, big market.
Big market. Big market.
Idris, I got a small. Here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I've always had a love for the Brewers. I don't know why. I just never had a hatred for them. For some reason I always liked the Brewers.
They kind of always came up to me as like the blue collar team. I remember when they used to be in the American League East along with the Yankees.
Exactly. Yeah.
Had those bleacher seats like Vaughn's Valley. It just kind of looked like what chill out baseball. And how could you hate it? How could you hate a team? How could you hate a team when you hit a home run and Bernie Brewer's jumping into a pool of beer? I mean, how could you hate that? How could you hate that? Bob Uecker? You know, come on, bro. Bob Uecker?
Yeah, that's right. That's why I used to like him.
They're likable, bro. I got a small surprise for you here.
Yeah.
You take your time. This is going to be your show for about 3 minutes. I'm going to go get some more hydration because I've been coughing on myself. I'm going to let you talk to the people on this, and I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Trust this guy. This guy got this.
I got this, y'all. All right, we got the Cardinals. You know, second place behind the Brewers. They're tough every year. You know, regardless. Going back to Pujols. As we talked about earlier with the Brewers, we think they're gonna have to spend money to hold the Cardinals off. The Cardinals are gonna be tough. Will they make a wild card? You know, who knows? I don't think they'll get the wild card because you know the American National League East is so deep. You got the Mets and the Braves fighting it out. You got the Brewers in the Central, and you got the Dodgers in the West and the Padres. So for them to get a wild card, a lot has to happen. The Blue Jays, they're one of those teams that they're hot and cold. They can surprise you, you know, but they're in a tough American League East team. I mean, division. You know, Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, Orioles. Like the Orioles are making a strong push, and they're only a half a game behind the Blue Jays. So I would give them a C because they're playing in a tough division. You know, look where we are. We got the Yankees, you know, Red Sox, and Rays. So I would give them a C because they're hanging tough, and they're not out of it for a wild card because most of the American League, 40-something losses, between 40 and 44 losses. The Jays at 42. So I wouldn't put it past them to make a run. The Orioles, I got my host back, but let me finish off the Orioles before he gets in here. The Orioles surprising me. Each year they do what they do. They flounder, but they're making a strong push. They're hot, 8-2 at home. The last 10, should I say? They're on the Blue Jays, Rays. They're only 4 games behind the Red Sox. Who knows what they do? They might be spoilers. I don't see them making a wild card or anything, but I think they're going to spoil a lot of hearts. Back to you, Richie.
Thank you, bro, for holding that down. Yeah, man. It's one thing about this COVID. It's like no matter how much I drink, it's telling me that, no, you didn't drink enough.
You didn't drink enough, yeah.
Yeah, but I heard the tail end of that. You were speaking about the Orioles. I, too, share your sentiment that they are probably not going to the playoffs, but they will shatter a few dreams on the way there. I did not mention the White Sox or set you up to mention the White Sox because I actually stopped believing in them, and I do think that Tony La Russa is a fraud and they're fakers. Yeah. The Twins will hold on and win that division.
Yeah,
or
he's a big mouth.
Or possibly the Guardians, but the Guardians and the Rays are going to be my teams that I think kind of shoot into the wild card. I think the Twins hold on, win that Central. And if the Brewers don't spend no damn money, like I already said, the Cardinals are going to win the Central in the NL.
I'm going with the Mariners over the Guardians. I think Seattle will fend off the Guardians.
You think Seattle might get hot and move somewhere?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going Rays and Mariners. Rays and Mariners for the wild card.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but you know.
Well, there's a lot of baseball left too.
No one said I was saying so.
No, there's a lot of baseball left, and I mean Seattle is 3 over 500, so. You know, I even had to look at that when you said the Mariners, and this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Similar to the East, the Astros are on top of everybody, and, you know, I mean, shit, you got the Texas Rangers only 4 under 500. Not completely out of the picture, or at least not the picture to respectability.
Right.
Out of these teams, do I think any of them are equipped to go on a postseason run that could surprise people, I'm going to name one team and one team only, the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. It's the big threes last season in the bigs, Wainwright, Pujols, Molina. I have a funny feeling, somehow or another, the Cardinals are going to find their way, if not to the World Series, to a deep playoff run. I just kind of got that vibe, and I think Major League Baseball would really want that too.
I'm glad you said that because I basically said something similar.
No shit.
Yeah, I said they're tough. The Brew Crew's going to have to get some money because the Cardinals are on them, and that I think I did say they'll get a wild card. Yeah, so we're on the same wavelength.
Well, thank you for holding that down, and we're now going to move it over to the NFL hot takes. I'm actually going to be attending this game week 2. I got both these kids staying healthy, regaining their star status. Yeah, I think I'm not saying they're each going to play 16 games, but they're going to play more games than they've had in a long while. That's my take on that.
Yeah.
It's time. They have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
Especially Barkley.
Yeah.
They have to.
Short and sweet. That's what I think's going to happen.
Oh, okay. I thought you had more. That's why I'm sitting back. I agree. They both have to improve on. I think CMC has made his mark, but he has to prove that he can stay healthy now. Because when healthy, you know what he does. Barkley, I think he has to stay healthy, show he can stay healthy, and he has to perform. So, yeah, it's on the line right now. This is it.
Well, on paper, and you never know until they play, even with resumes, the Giants, by all evidence, should have a much improved offensive line this year. Yeah. But it still has to get done on the field.
Right.
And it still depends. Right. And that correlates directly to the health of DJ and Saquon. And in that regard, I think Saquon will be healthier, will be more productive, and will be able to just kind of get his steps back. My other hot take here, I got Juju Smith Schuster. I'm calling for a career resurrection. He was kind of expendable in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's kind of going through a transition now, too, at the quarterback position. Trubisky holding down the job for Pickett for now. They also had a tragedy in the organization with the loss of Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State legend. But with Patrick Mahomes and with the absence of Tyreek Hill, they also have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who played some good football for Green Bay along with Aaron Rodgers. I think Mahomes is going to show, and Brett doesn't agree with me on this. He's calling for missed playoffs, and Mahomes is going to really struggle. I don't agree.
I don't either.
Offensively, this team can score points. With or without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I feel with Juju, you have more of a team player, unselfish player. I want to win. Whatever we got to do to win, let's win. And as great as Tyreek was, catch the ball and take off running, maybe a few things across the middle. I think Juju is more the type of guy that he's going to get you the yards, hit the middle, hit the post pattern, hit the fly pattern. He's not super fast, but I see him as an actual receiver to where I've seen Tyreek more as a gadget guy. You know, Juju can block. Tyreek wasn't a blocker.
He can block downfield. So he's good with the route tree.
Yeah. He's good with the route tree, right. And like I said, he's more of a team guy. So I see Juju coming back, you know, and Mahomes has more weapons, so he doesn't have to rely on Juju so much. He still got Kelsey there, you know. Right. So the only way I feel the Chiefs won't make the playoffs is if the AFC West is as good as it looks, because they're deep. That's the only way. Other than that, they win their division, they're going to the playoffs. Period.
I don't have them winning the division, but I definitely have them making the playoffs. I actually have said this on a few shows already. I like the Chargers and the Raiders to finish ahead of the Chiefs, but they're all going to win north of 11 games, which means they're all going to be damn good.
I'm not sold on the Chargers, man. I'm just not.
I think it's a leap year. Like for them, they're gonna surprise a lot of people and show that they could be with the big boys.
I see them finishing third, man. Third in the division, missing the playoffs.
I mean, it's a tough division too. So a lot.
Yeah, it's deep. Yeah, it's deep. Yeah, I see him third.
This could take all of 30 seconds. Antonio Brown to get a final shot if they are a contender and get him. He's so talented that you never know. Because I don't know if he's quite got to that Ocho Cinco TO territory where he gets like blacklisted from NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they put it on the phone, do not call so-and-so. I'm not 100% sure if AB is there yet, but he's definitely on the thinnest device. If it doesn't happen this year, you will not see him play again. That's it.
That's all I have to.
Yeah.
That's all I have to. Same thing.
I'm going to get to yours now.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Tyreek Hill will have a drop-off. Go ahead.
I'm going for that because I'm not sold on Tua. I'm just not. And with Tyreek being a number one or number two, whatever, you got a quarterback who has still proven to just not be able to get the job done. He can't read defenses that well. He can't stay healthy. I just don't see him really. I see Tyreek Hill turning into a problem. He's going to complain because he's already yapping his mouth now about his own quarterback, and it hadn't even started yet. So I see him being like AB. Why am I not getting the ball? I'm open all the time. And being that he's now in that position to where he don't have all the weapons around him that he had with Mahomes and Kelsey and all that, it's a whole different team. To where in Kansas City, you didn't know who to one-on-one, you didn't know to play zone 4-3. You didn't know because you had so much going on. Then you had a quarterback in Mahomes that can run and flip the ball behind his head like he's playing basketball. You don't have that in Miami. You got a quarterback who's still trying to learn the game.
You and Brett agree on this strongly. Mm-hmm. And to your point, I could see Tyreek Hill going off on Tua because veteran receivers that are used to getting the ball constantly are not known for having patience with young quarterbacks. And that could be the undoing also in Philly for a team that on paper is supposed to win the division.
Exactly.
But can a guy like an A.J. Brown have the patience to deal with a young guy like Jalen Hurts, who's very talented but still learning?
Right.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Here's another guy.
I agree.
Who has been known to frustrate a few of his receivers.
Well. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to step up this year. It's his game, man. It's his career right here.
Yeah.
You don't make it here, either you're going to be a career backup somewhere or you're just going to be out of the league. Because right now, teams just don't have any patience. I think with Dable actually working with him and building around him and saying, okay, we're going to work around his strength, I think he's going to do well. Because even last year, before he got hurt, he was playing pretty damn well.
He was.
With a limited
weapon.
Skeleton. Yeah, right. So I think this year, with Galladay knowing he has to prove what he's going to do.
No more alligator arm catches.
No, exactly. With Tony having to step up because we drafted other kid, Saquon going all out,
Sterling Shepard's swan song more than likely holding down that position for Wan'Dale Robinson.
Right. And so when Shep comes back, he's going to be playing for, auditioning for another team. The Giants.
Yeah.
So Jones everything's going to be there for Jones to show that he's who he is.
Yeah.
That they didn't waste a pick on him. If he doesn't, I see him ending up like Baker.
Oh, I thought you were mimicking what it looked like when his offensive line caved in. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was, man.
I was like,
man.
He's doing special effects and everything. Look at this. He's trying to show the viewer what it feels like to be Daniel Jones in the pocket.
That's a good ad lib, man. I like that.
I thought you were asking. That's what I thought you were doing, bro. That was good, bro.
Oh yeah, you know how I do.
He got one of these. Dude, the Eli face. The 2018 Eli
yeah, exactly.
face. That poor bastard got sacked like 48 times that year. Oh my God, yeah. Jesus. At the start. I remember that.
The start.
This is your final one here. You got Kyler Murray potentially getting injured. Cardinals missed the playoffs. Last year they lost in round 1, ran out of steam, got smoked by the Rams. The Cardinals were not healthy playing that game, and it was just like the Rams were like sharks and sharks with in bloody waters. They had no chance in that game.
Yeah. Kyler, just like every other Oklahoma quarterback, going back to Aikman before he transferred to UCLA, I have no confidence in an Oklahoma quarterback. The best one to come out was Sam Bradford. He couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, Bradford was a disappointment. A lot of people thought he was going to be great.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't because he got hurt in college. Oklahoma was always a running back college. And he's small. He's fragile. He gets frustrated real easily. He has an entitled attitude. And I don't see any type of leadership out of him. I see him as soft. Period.
I tend to agree with this. I tend to agree with that because just the way he was making like the money demands, I'm like, dude, what have you won?
Yeah, right.
If you don't win any playoff games, your numbers got to be like astronomically good, where I could blame your losses on other shit that's going on in your team. That's not the case with this dude.
Right.
Deshaun Watson, believe it or not, even with all his legal bullshit, has more to fall back on in terms of an argument than this kid.
He carried a garbage team the best he could. And with the loss of Hopkins for the first, 6 games, it's going to affect Murray. So, I just don't see him. I see him, and it's not a hater thing because he like to call hate because you disagree or have a different take on it. But I think it's another fallback year. And I just think I still have confidence in him, man. I just don't.
For sure.
Yeah. For me on that one.
You hearing me okay, bro? I think we got a little bit of feedback here. I don't know if it was from when you got sacked.
Hold on a second. I kind of lost you. I kind of lost hearing. I'm going to jump out and jump back in.
All right, buddy.
Jim, I'm going to jump out and jump.
Going to give Idris a chance to get back in here. While we wait for Idris, I'm actually going to hit on my final thought. Why is Sterling Sharp still waiting for Hall of Fame induction in the NFL? For those of you who don't remember or are not aware, Sterling Sharp, for 7 years, was the heir apparent to the great Jerry Rice in the NFL. His regular season touchdown best was 18. He was part of the resurgence with the Green Bay Packers after a 29-year drought. Unfortunately, he wasn't a member of the Super Bowl team. His last game was played in 1994 to a severe neck injury. Kind of a cruel thing that happened with him because he saw his younger brother play his Packers in the Super Bowl just a couple of years after he was injured. The numbers are insane. Sterling Sharp absolutely
and we're back.
Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And in my opinion, if a guy like Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame for a similar amount of time, played
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Sharp has to be a no-brainer. A no-brainer. Idris, we're going to hit on your final point. We got roughly about 5.
Okay. Yep. Here's what you said about Sharp. I feel the same about Mattingly.
This guy right
baseball.
That guy right behind me.
Right there. Yep. He may not have the big numbers other Hall of Famers have, but it's what he did on the field. He was first baseman, outfielder. Average I think was 307, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy, you got to put him in there, man. I mean, with the Baseball Hall of Fame, they anger me so much because they let so many great players go by. And it's like, what do you got? And sometimes they don't even put anyone in there.
They don't condone cheating.
Right.
But if you didn't cheat in the era where other guys may have outshined you that were cheating, you still get punished.
Right.
Mattingly's a perfect example.
It's crazy, man. This man belongs in the Hall of Fame.
To support your
greatest Yankees ever.
To support your point, he hit over 400 in his only postseason. With 10,
that's crazy.
With 10 RBIs, he hit over 400 in his only postseason. A former league MVP, something that not even Derek Jeter can claim.
Right.
To your point, career 307 batting average. Over 2,100 hits.
A lot of hits, man. Put the man in there.
The power numbers were not where they were typically. At his peak, he was hitting 35 to 40 a year, driving in between 130 and 145 RBIs. Those numbers took steep hits when he would bat earlier in the lineup, later in his career.
Yeah.
One of the things that stands out to me about your guy, Don Mattingly, my guy, he's my favorite baseball player, by the way, is that he carried bad Yankee teams and still put those numbers up. And a point that I want to make, he only averaged 3 hits less per year than Derek Jeter. It's an atrocity. He has more gold gloves than Derek Jeter.
Keep on preaching. Keep on preaching. Why isn't this man in the Hall of Fame?
My thing is this. If you're good enough to get your number retired in Monument Park, where you got Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Thurman Munson, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Bill Dickey, Yogi Berra, etc., Mariano Rivera. If you're not good enough for Cooperstown, I don't know what the hell to say.
Because they just don't put anyone out there.
They don't.
The Yankees yard. They just don't put anybody out there. A lot of good players came through the Yankee organization. Mickey Rivers. I mean, Darryl Stewart. Oh God, I'm trying to say this guy's name. Oh, shoot, got his face in my head. But so many Yankees have come through. A lot of them are not in the park.
Yeah, it's disturbing on a lot of levels because I'm willing to go as far that not only is he probably the most underappreciated Yankee out of Yankee captains and Yankee leaders. If you're talking baseball from roughly 1982 to 1989, many people would say he was the face of Major League Baseball during those years.
Exactly.
And to keep this man out of the Hall is fucking egregious.
It's crazy, man. That's not even baseball. You got to put him in.
And I think the other thing
Hall of Fame is garbage.
That makes him phenomenal is that you'll never hear him badmouth the process of it. He will never speak a negative word about the game that was so good to him.
Nope. Class act, man.
And he gets along with everyone. I have never heard anyone in Major League Baseball say a negative word about that man.
Nope. Got to get him in.
Yes, we do. Veterans Committee, 2 men in 2 different sports that need to be in their respective Hall of Fames. Sterling Sharp in Canton, Don Mattingly in Cooperstown.
He's Idris.
Got to put him in. I'm the COVID kid, Richie. We are out. Idris, great job, buddy. Thank you.